So this is the Blade Grave down there. That's a long bloody walk for us. Ugh. Still, I would rather get this quest sorted before I do anything else. And then we'll probably head back, pick up another team. Like, once I get Barik out of this, I hope I can get Barik out of this. Then I would like to move on. There we go. Characters become wounded when they are knocked out. On Path of the Damned difficulty, characters also become wounded when their health is dropped to a certain stuff. Subterfuge +1. Right, let's pause there. It's got a lot of things to have a look at. Locate a sample of fused iron and bronze. You have arrived at the Sentinel Strand outskirts. Locate a sample of fused iron and bronze from the site of Barik's exposure to the Edict of Storms. One of my spies has done something. 3 new items of Vendrian as well. Okay. And a bunch of new stuff over here as well. A master trainer who teaches control Gravelight and control illusions. Control Gravelight would be quite nice to get. Control Fire would also be quite cool. Control Atrophy. Now that one I've not seen. Skill trainer who teaches control life, control vigor, control atrophy, control Gravelight, and use of a magic staff. A swindler from the Blasted City who is able to acquire items left unattended. Fatebinder with the ability to change what skills you're proficient in. Longfang, a load beast who regularly provides food to take into battle. Smith who regularly produces weapons. A skill trainer who teaches one-handed weapons. A bunch of good things there. Battle scavenger, many unique items. Skill trainer. Well, I think getting a new scribe wouldn't be a bad one. Rare magical scrolls as well would be quite nice. So I'm going to hire you. Then I'm also going to pick up one of these. Sure. We'll get the sage there. Oh, yeah. That'll be interesting. We'll see how that goes. Well, I'll have to go back there before too long to check that out. The ferrets are doing really well at the moment, though I believe that Siri needed to be separated from the main group and one of the others as well, because she is in heat at the moment, and I think she's still a bit sore. So, trying to keep... Oh, she's back in there now. Oh, that's very good to hear, Lady Sheila. Thank you very much for letting me know. But, yeah, just before sorry, just after I started the stream, I noticed Sheila say that she was going to separate them for a little bit, because they are a bit noisy. It's ferret business, and ferret business is noisy. There's just no other way of putting it. But, there we go. They're being nice and quiet and cuddly. Good. Very glad to hear. But yeah, there's a couple of trainers that I wouldn't mind grabbing. I wouldn't mind grabbing all of them, honestly. We've got a lot to sell. Alright, my dear Fatebinder, it's a poorly kept secret that Blood and Mark's job is more about killing threats before they become a problem. Official executions are really the minority of his duties. And as I understand it, Karis has long used Blood and Mark as a preventative measure, since he can move about the world rather freely, and he can evade all but the most absurd powers. He's the perfect predator to send against wild talents. I'm sure few in the tiers have ever actively wondered why there have been seemingly so few Archons born this far west. I'm sure folks with the potential to be Archons have occurred in the tiers time and time again, but they're usually cut down by Mark before the world hears of them. It's likely safe to assume Bled and Mark has his eye on you and has orders to use his own judgment as to when to strike. I've known the old man for ages. I'd strongly encourage you not to try to appeal to him with overt displays of loyalty. He has no stomach for sycophants. I sincerely believe he thinks every human being is a selfish, twisted knave, and there are those who are lying about it and those who accept that they are. No third type exists. So yes, I do think Bled and Mark will one day have to come for you. As I said, you could always hide or end your life now, but where you're headed, conflict is likely inevitable. Okay, tell me a little bit about Archons and how they've risen to power. I appreciate the insight, and I'm honoured by your vote of confidence. Your missive made mention of Graven Ash, and how you've known him since before he wore the title Archon of War. Can you tell me more of what you observed of his rise to power? If I am indeed an Archon, it's safe to say I wasn't born knowing what I can or can't do, and it stands to reason I might learn something from the stories of the other Archons. Yeah, that seems fair. Yeah, a group of ferrets is called a business. This is truth. Alright. Sure, I'll grab all of it. Alright, let's be quiet about this. Look around, see what we can see. We're having to travel far right now, which is a bit of annoyance. And I will tend to be stealthy where I can. Is that a post of some sort? Seems to be. Something maybe up that way? Yeah, there definitely does seem to be some things up here. It's a very small map. Judge's Day. 8th span of conquest. Okay. What we got here? Another little bit. Nobleman's braces. Nothing too interesting. Ooh. The blistering winds of the Edict of Storms rounded the stones of these walls, dusting them in iron and bronze. Yet they persist. Something up there maybe I can find? There's something down there that I can probably interact with. Okay. Also, before I go any further, what is my lore at now? 104 lore, which now means that, as it happens, I could, if I wished, add some new things. Reset that one. Generate an aura around the target. I mean, I could just straight up have a healing aura. Every 2 minutes, allies for 30, emitting allied for 30 seconds, 4% health, every 3 seconds. Nothing else, though, would be affected by it. I could extend it out to 45 seconds at most. But that would be very expensive to do. I could have a bigger radius, which would be quite nice. Or a stronger effect. It's an interesting one, certainly. I think I might get rid of Rhyme Spike and replace it with a an aura heal. Actually, restore the land. What's this one? 10% maximum health for 45 seconds. Removes a random hostile effect. That was way too expensive right now. But this one will be fine for the time being. We're going to continue to try and chase those lore skill points where we can, wherever we can, to keep getting better and better spells. Bronze War Mace.
Sorry,
No
I can't.
particular importance to me. Did I not pick that up? No, I did. Good. Honestly, at this point, it seems that I'm alone. So I just wander. I wasn't sure, but it does seem to be the case. Of course, I'm approaching something else now. Ooh. Damn it. Didn't mean to necessarily click on it. I wanted to have a look at what it was. Oh, hello. Crimson flashes amongst the torn terrain of the Blade Grave as a gang emerges from the landscape around you. They're hardened men and women, with well-weathered skin and narrow eyes, their piecemeal leather armor graced with notes of bronze. Fatebinder, so nice of you to finally show up, Careless Spark. A woman steps forward, grinning at you with small, uneven teeth and wrapped tightly in the fur and leathers of a blood chanter. A tangled mass of sooty, wind-blown hair drapes her shoulders, and her large eyes scrutinize you hungrily. Beautiful scenery, no? Truly displays the indiscriminate artistry of our overlord. I'm going to glare silently. Do I have blood on my face again? She wipes at her cheek, smearing soot. Am I supposed to know who you are? Name's Careless Spark. Ridiculous, you're telling yourself. But I think it suits. Gets to the core in a way the mother name never did. How did you know I'd be here? Think we don't keep tabs on Halfgate? It's a cacophony doorstep. It's on Cacophony's doorstep. Get on with it and tell me what you want. Aside from revisiting on you what you did to the censor, her lip twitches. I don't expect you're willing to sell the Ironclad service to us. The Archon of Secrets would be wildly, ridiculously grateful to have a personal audience with him. Whether I can spare Barik depends entirely on what you're offering. Wow! Wow. Really? I could just give Barik up. I think I speak for both Barik and myself when I tell you we'd sooner see him dead than in the hands of the voices. What does the Archon of Secret want with Barik? Your heavy friend survived an edict and came out stronger for it. You think the voices wouldn't be a mite bit curious? Ah, man. Barik, I'm going to be honest. For someone who hates me, I'm going through an awful lot of trouble for you. I really... No. That's the wisest sentiment I've heard in days. Shall we rid the tears of this filth, then? I thought it might come to this in the end. Let's see if you live up to your legend. She sighs and hefts her staff as her gang moves to attack. Barik, once again, I really want you to appreciate how much I'm doing for someone who doesn't even like me. Right, stop doing things. I want you to move forward. Also, Kills and Shadows, stop doing things. Move forward. Sirin. Titan's Touch. Stop doing things. Move over there. Me. Tight together now, everyone. Super tight together, please. Everyone. So amazingly tight together. Everyone get it. Come on. Kills and Shadow. I need you there. Ah, fine. Whatever. Ignite Brand. Oh, that'll work. Quickly. Right, while that's happening, Sirin, Surge of Glory. Right now, all of us. You've got Titan's Touch. Two Vitality for 45. Yeah, give it to Barik. As Barik is about to be doing a lot of tanking for us. Right. Barik, super duper need you to Clash of Iron. I don't know, not Clash of Iron, sorry. Iron Trolling. Nope. Where is it? Don't you have an ability that draws everyone to you? I'm sure the Barik did. It's probably in here, isn't it? No. I was certain that he had. It's your mocking invitation challenging it. Oh, right, okay, yeah, it was this, actually. I'm just a dirt. Massive dirt. Go ahead. Sirin, back out. Me, also back out. Right, everything is done. At this point, I'm happy for you to... Shadow and Fatebinder both instantly dash to a target and attack. The Fatebinder's attack stuns a target and any enemies nearby, while Kills and Shadow inflicts a powerful bleed effect. Sure. Barrel through, please. Right, the current song you've got Bane of Night. Deals arcane damage to nearby enemies, deals raw damage to nearby enemies, frightens nearby enemies, drains health from nearby enemies. Yeah, you just keep working through that. And otherwise do what you think is best. Barik, you're now free to do what you think is best, mostly. Though I could have Tidal Burst. Or Unravel Mice. No, I think you're good with what you have. In terms of your spells... Yeah, the only one that I don't have up there is your heal. Unravel Minds. Actually, that might not be a bad one for you to cast. Frightened, terrified. No, don't go for that one. Flashfire, no. If you could go ahead and attack them. Oh, are you still activating your ability? Oh, it appears you are. Oh, right, never mind. My bad. You go ahead and just attack whoever. Barik, I thought I told you to draw their attention. I really did. I super feel that I did. I really wish I could target the ground. Alas, no. Okay, just get a fireball over there. They're down. Let's get guidance there. Right, I would like you to be attacking over there. And honestly, we'll use Kills in Shadow as my
try something else.
As my damager. She can do a lot of damage straight up, so... Do I have any other good ones? I haven't got really much. Swap my weapon then. And start going for... you. Oh. Right, there we go. Let's get in. There we are. And a howl. Should be able to do a decent chunk. Yep. We should win this fairly easily. I could honestly just put my own AI on at this point and just watch.
Sorry, I can't help you.
Fairly certain we should be good. The amount of damage we're doing, and the fact that we gather so much health.
Nobody heard that, right?
Nope, totally didn't. That being said, how about we drop this over there? Get them all healing up. There we go. Pump. Well, this is a pretty awesome group at this point. Another gang of crimson corpses made of trespassers upon the Bladegrave. Let us claim what brought us here. He sighs. Oh, that's fine. That was actually pretty thorough. I've got rusted iron sword, nothing of any particular value there. Shattered glass vial, take everything.
Will this do? It is nigh the size of a kite.
I think it'll probably be okay.
You have your rock. Let us leave this place.
Something bothering you, Barik?
I have repeatedly asked you to leave this be, yet you persist. Do you think that you act in my interest? Do you think you know better than I where my interest lies?
I'm gonna let him have it out. Petulantly mirrors your gesture.
There was
Damn
no
it!
ambiguity in the Archon of Justice's ruling.
More ambiguity than I don't think Barik will like it. See, if I say this, I fully intend to get him out of that armor, because I feel it'll be better for us in the long run. But I will give more consideration to your concerns.
Thank you, Fatebinder. If this did not concern only myself, I would not question your decision so openly. But my interest in this is, well, obvious.
Peering at the ground for several seconds, Barik says nothing, and then turns his attention back to you.
This place haunts me, Fatebinder. These walls, these lands, they were hard ones, but they possessed an austere beauty. The general saw them for what they were. Lands well worth fighting for. The winds that day, they swept everything aside. They tumbled tearsmen and livestock like children's playthings. The dust choked our mouths and eyes. Trees appeared as if by magic, only to be smashed into splinters against stones. And those splinters cut like knives.
Go on.
We were no fools. We knew what had fallen upon us, and we took cover as best our iron shields and the general's protection allowed. Yet the wind tore us away, one by one. Some silent, some screaming. Now only I remain. In this state.
His gauntlet rings against his breast, cutting off any possible response.
Take the metal to your smith, or do not. There's nothing further to be said. Let us leave.
Okay. Well...
I got it.
Can I not interact with that? Oh, there we go. Light leather helm. Take that.
Quiet down.
In the early days of the Edict of Storms, colossal twisting columns of wind sometimes descended from the clouds to scar the land. One such vortex touched down here, remaining long enough to twist the stone into tall, vicious spines. Okay. Return to the smith of the sample. Okay. Well, that's where we're going. Though I don't suspect that Barik is going to be particularly happy with it, one way or t'other, but... let me just check on Barik, actually. Well, we're well past Blade Grade's grasp. I tried to. I treated him without empathy, and I treated him with... What? Okay. My party is here. Right. Let's get back over to the mage. And hopefully we can help Barik out. Hello. You're back. Did you secure the alloy? Give it here. She opens her palm and regards you with an enthused grin. Yeah. Oh, fantastic. She accepts the alloy and places it on her anvil. Mumbling, she traces her fingers in the air, forming a series of sigils. With rapt attention, Barik watches the smith move about the sample, examining it from several angles. He says nothing, but when the faceplate of his helm shifts towards you, there's accusation in his eyes. A few other thoughtful sounds follow as she continues her examination. This will do. This will most certainly do. She straightens, nodding vigorously. Licentia brings her hands together again in a single sharp clap. It's going to take me a little time to work out the rock's properties, but this is a promising start. I assume that you will be stabbing me with a hot iron rod as well. Of course not, don't be ridiculous. Of course not. His armor grinds against itself with a growl. Pull up a stool or crate and make yourself at home. This shouldn't take too long. A few hours pass as Licentia bombards the sample from the blade grave with a combination of hammering and spellwork. She heats it, submerges it in water, shapes it, reads it in lightning, and causes it to levitate in the air. Eventually, she pauses, studying the metal and tapping her chin. Find anything? I'd sure as stone say I did. The alloy absorbs and retains mystical energy, specifically in the form of a magical effect. She grins. In theory, a weapon crafted of it could retain its enchantment for decades, at least, maybe longer. What does this mean for Barik? It means your curiosity is sated. It means we can continue our true mission and forget this heretical quest. I mean, I don't actually have any answer here that is agreeing with him. You live your entire life in the service of Graven Ash and the Overlord. The added burden of this armor is ridiculous. As it should be. I don't suffer this armor because it's just. I suffer it because it's Kairos' will, and I am Kairos' servant, as you have often claimed to be. Fortunately, severing Barik from the armor may not be as easy as one imagines. Perhaps if I'd gotten to him immediately after the edict. As is, Barik is as alloyed with his armor as the iron is with the bronze. She gestures towards the sample. Simply put, Ash's ability to shield his soldiers has spread to the armor, likely due to the edict's power. Each wound taken by soldier and armor are one, and they heal as one, with flesh and metal fusing together. She interweaves her fingers. So long as Barik remains under the Archon of War's power, he remains in the armor. The longer he remains in the armor, the more it will become an intractable part of him. Is there no other way? An alternative? I'll continue studying the alloy. If I find anything, I'll send word to your spire. She drums her chin with 3 sooty fingers, frowning. Short of the death of the Graven Ash, or him rescinding his patronage over Barik, I see no way to free Barik from the Archon's power.
Neither is an acceptable solution. This shell, onerous though it may be, protects me and serves you. Without the great general or the disfavored, I have no purpose.
Oh, come on, you big crybaby. I'm sure there's a siege engine somewhere in need of a counterweight.
Wow. You've always got a place with us. There's always protecting me. That's purpose in that. Thank you, listener. Please keep searching for a better way. Well, okay. I'll just say keep looking for a better way. My pleasure, Fatebinder. If I uncover anything of value, I'll dispatch a bird immediately. Well, that was a lot of work for ultimately no particular reward. Oh well. Other than, you know, having Barik answer rather uncomfortable questions. I feel so bad. And yet, Aavak, this is the sort of question that can get you killed. Very little is known about how Archons are born or come to power, and my long life has taught me that Kairos and the Archons prefer it this way. If the young and talented remain forever in the dark, the old and mighty can rule without challenge. I heard of Ash. He will always be merely Ash to me. Before Kairos renamed him and gave his legion that the backhanded title. As a rebel, a grimy, illiterate partisan who was winning battles while his countrymen of the North Kingdom lost left and right. Ash was always a good leader, but he wasn't born able to mystically reach out and protect his soldiers. The earliest mention of it isn't even until the tail end of the Northern Conquest, and if you read the journals, they don't tell stories of grievous harm warded off by Ash's stern looks. Instead, they talk of his soldiers finding their fears and doubts lifted from them by Ash's presence. A careful reading suggests the ability to actually protect physical harm came years later, as the bond grew, and, more importantly, as his legend grew. That legend part is the key detail. In my understanding, an Archon's power is something of a self-fulfilling prophecy. The widespread perception of an Archon's power is the very thing that strengthens the Archon's power. So in Ash's case, he had some early inkling of her power, the ability to assuage the burdens of his men, and as he took on the mantle of power and became known all around Terratus as the next Archon of War, it soon became the ability to bear the physical burdens of his men, not just the fears and doubts. Thus my advice to you is to act like an Archon. Take power where you can find it. Foster fear, foster love. Never walk through life anonymously, but rather live in the thoughts of your followers and the anxieties of your enemies. Wow. Okay, I would like to know about Kairos' Wrath. Dear Myothis, thank you for weighing in on all of this. To ask perhaps too obvious a question, if I am such an anomaly, such a threat, why hasn't the Overlord dealt with me right away? An edict or just a simple request of Bled and Mark would be no small threat. Neither seems to have happened just yet. What is your take on this? Why hasn't Kairos dealt with me? Fair enough. Speak with Barik. You've learned that so long as Barik remains under Ash's aegis, his armor will remain a part of him. Speak with him to discuss the quandary. Do I need to? I don't think he's ready to. And I'm not sure I'm ready to. Let's head back. 2 days, 5 hours. We're going to grab a different group. Oh, encounter in the Stone Sea.